Hey, this is Mr. Chicken. I wanted to share with you my latest really quick little project. This is a Mynock from The Empire Strikes Back. This is a really quick little project. Spent a couple of evenings on it. And I think it's a nice little illustration of how you can use just some quick little techniques, borrowing some from my corpsing how-to that I shared in a previous video, as well as some new little tricks that I really enjoyed in this. So hope you get something out of it. I'm making the armature for this guy out of armature wire, which is a heavy-duty aluminum wire that's really easy to form. If you don't have that, you can use other wires and you just twist them up on a drill to make a stronger wire. That's what I used for the eyes here, and I just hot glued some balls on top. The wires are connected with epoxy putty. You can use different brands, but basically what you do is you just cut off a piece and knead it together, and you get this putty that sets up in like 10 to 20 minutes into a really hard substance that will hold the wires together. For the ribs, I'm just rolling up some tubes of newspaper. I do this for corpses a lot too, when I need to make a full figure. I hot glue those onto the armature wire, and I glue a little cardboard sternum into the middle to hold them all in shape and give a little more dimension as well. Then to bulk up the neck and the tail, I'm just crumpling up some newspaper and wrapping it with some tape to create the forms that I need. The mouth, I just rolled up a little donut of newspaper and glued it in place. And that's basically it for the armature. I try to keep it really simple. I'm using some clearance oops paint from Home Depot, which you can get really cheap, to do my chicken mache corpsing technique over the whole body of this guy. Basically, you're just dipping paper towels into paint, but if you check out my corpsing how-to video, you'll get some other tips on how I like to do this. I try to use variations on twisting and wrapping and crumpling in different ways to give different parts of the body different feeling and different kinds of skin textures. When we get to the wings, I'm trying something new here. I didn't have a big enough paper towel, so I wanted to use some fabric. This is just some muslin, and I'm dipping that into the paint. Now, this may remind you of what people do with monster mud, which is paint and joint compound mixed together. I'm not sure, but I think this might actually work out better for a lot of Halloween props and similar things. The paint dries hard, but it dries with a flexibility, which is great because it won't crack, which goes a long way for durability. And once that's dry, I'm going in with my first pass of color. This is polyacrylic from the hardware store mixed with acrylic paint to get sort of a glazy wash that I'm going to paint on and then rub off. It gives a nice translucent quality to the paint that you wouldn't get without the polyacrylic. And then I wanted the body of the creature itself to be a darker brown color, so I'm going in with straight brown paint that I'm going to paint on and then rub off in a similar way, but it's going to give me a bit more opacity to the paint and a different kind of finish. A little black on the eyes, a little glazy whitish color in the mouth, followed up by a coat of gloss, and then some 5-minute epoxy will finish off the eyes. There's all these little feelers around the mouth, and so I just painted some little dots of balloon latex onto a board, and then I'm rolling those up into these little nurnies that I'm gluing onto the mouth area with more latex. So that's kind of all there was to it. This is just a quick interpretation of what seems to be kind of a quick little project in the actual movie. I'll put a link in the description to my blog, which you'll just have to check out after Halloween if you want to see how this fits into my Halloween plans. So I hope this gives you some ideas. I hope you're feeling creative and you go out and make something.